ECOWAS marks its 50th anniversary, we take a closer look at ECOWAS's mission in the Gambia and the role of its resident representative in the country. In international news, the government of Cabo Verde has declared a state of emergency following deadly flash floods triggered by torrential rains that shattered the islands of Santo Ante and San Vicente and St. Nicola. These and other stories coming ahead. Do stay tuned.
The 2024
Now, the Gambia Police Force has confirmed the arrest of Abdoulie Sanyang, an ex-military officer, on Sunday, 17th August 2025 at the Banjul International Airport. The arrest came following his remarks during a radio interview on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on West Coast Radio on the 14th of August 2025, which was also broadcast online. Janneh Commission has the details.
Is being sought by the Gambia Police Force following Mr. Abdoulie Sanyang's remarks on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on West Coast Radio, which the police describe as having significant national security implications. According to the press release, Mr. Sanyang is currently in custody at Bruceby Police Station pending further investigation. In his interview with Peter Gomez, Mr. Sanyang alleged that 2021 presidential election was rigged and that non-Gambians were issued voter cards to influence the results. President Adam Barrow garnered 53% of votes in the election. Although the September 2023 Sukuta Jabang traffic light shooting, which left 2 police officers dead and 1 injured, is currently in court, Mr. Sanyang alleged that the state was behind the shooting, claiming that he has got the intelligence and waiting for the right time to reveal this. Mr. Sanyang also alleged he was instrumental in bringing ECOWAS to the Gambia as a standby force when then-President Yahya Jammeh refused to step down. Mai Fati, a former interior minister, responding to these comments on Monday, 18th of August, described Sanyang's statement as completely false. He said on a Facebook post, and I quote, "Being the first Minister of Interior of the coalition government and being privy to high-level ECOWAS and other multilateral decisions on economic presence in the Gambia, Sanyang's utterly false assertions represent a deeply troubled and traumatized mind, but one proficient at this information." End of quote. At the time of this broadcast, there had been no further updates from the authorities. Reporting for QTV News, I am Janneh Commission.
Following the completion of a comprehensive survey of business activities and entities operating in the country, GBOS officials and partners on Monday validated the economic census report for the 2024 fiscal year. And Sumana Esonyasi reports.
The 2024 economic census primarily focused on trade and industry activities, employment patterns, the formality status, and the spatial distribution of business entities. The report also revealed an impressive economic outlook and a proliferation of businesses representing irreversible growth in business activities. Statistician General Nyakasi MB Sanyang underscores the importance of economic surveys, especially in facilitating the development of socio-economic policies and enhancing the welfare of citizens.
Business enterprise surveys is very important, as we all know, as it provides the information required for the famous rebasing of the GDP. I know this been anticipated, as we all know. At the moment, there are quite a number of very important economic activities that has emerged since the conduct of the last business enterprise survey and needs to be captured. Otherwise, the GDP is missing very important information.
On the key implications as highlighted by the report, the Statistician General and the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ansumana Sane, say that while the current economic outlook looks impressive, it is important to address challenges in underdeveloped sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing and information and communication, adding that the survey provides a comprehensive and updated profile of all economic activities in the Gambia.
The economic census is a very critical exercise for the country, as it formed the basis for future economic surveys, and also serves as the sampling frame for both the business enterprise survey and other economic surveys.
These enhancements will not only update our economic benchmarks, but will also reinforce the Gambia's capacity to produce high-quality statistics that aligns with international standards. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs places great importance on accurate and timely data. Without it, our ability to plan budgets, assess economic performance, and evaluate the impact of policies will be severely constrained.
While it notes the country's current impressive economic outlook, the report also revealed that, among others, formality remains a challenge, with 79.5% of entities still informal. Banjul scored the highest in formality. 70.9% of business entities are said to be formally registered with the Registrar of Companies, as opposed to below 35% in all other local government areas. To address these gaps, several recommendations are made in the report, including the strengthening of business activities in local government areas and supporting the formalization of micro and small entities to spur sustainable economic growth. Antoine Sanyang for KTV News.
The National Environment Agency, NEA, on Monday hosted a validation workshop for the Climate Resilient Banjul Enhancing Urban Resilience in the Greater Banjul Area Climate Initiative document, marking an important step towards finalizing the plan that will guide interventions to protect the region from the growing impacts of climate change. Yafatu Gay tells us more.
Supported by the Global Environmental Facility, the Climate Initiative aims to strengthen the resilience of vulnerable communities and ecosystems in the Greater Banjul area. The project focuses on addressing the impacts of flooding, prolonged droughts, and rising sea levels, which threatens both urban and rural populations. The region faces serious environmental challenges, including coastal erosion, overwhelmed drainage systems, rapid urbanization, unplanned settlements, and poor waste management, all of which put homes, infrastructure, and public health at risk. Dauda Baji, Director of the National Environment Agency, describes the initiative as first-of-its-kind JEP project and calls on stakeholders to actively participate in ensuring its successful implementation to tackle environmental challenges in urban areas.
This is the first of its kind to be funded by JEP, to be implemented in any African country. So we either do it and raise the bar, or we don't do it and be part of the people who are given the opportunity. It was very difficult to defend this, but at least as of now, we are at this level until we get approval from JEP of $12 something million meant to address our situation.
Rohit John Manjang, the Minister of Environment, highlighted the significant impact the project is expected to have on urban development.
So let's make sure that we give the document what it deserves. It's an opportunity that will hardly come our way again. This is to set up the right framework and the practice that will get us to achieving our objective. It's a first project in the Gambia. We all agree that in as much as we have the infrastructure, we need to keep the environment resilient to stand the climate shocks that we are all exposed to, especially as a developing country.
Babukar Zaidi Jallo is the Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Environment.
As we validate this project today, we urge each of you to ensure three things. The first being that ensure that whatever we propose today is aligned with our national development plan, our priorities, as well as our strategies with regards to climate change. And actively incorporate the priorities of frontline communities who are most affected by climate impacts. An example would be Ibo Town, where currently they have a serious issue of flooding.
With an average evaluation of only 34 m above sea level, Gambia is one of the lowest lying countries in the world, and the capital Banjul is listed as being at sea level and remains prone to natural disasters such as flooding. In July 2022, flooding affected Banjul, Kanifing Municipality, parts of the West Coast region and the North Bank region, leading to deaths and destruction. During the validation process, stakeholders from government agencies, civil society, and private sector reviewed the draft project document, offering input to ensure that the initiative aligns with national priorities and effectively addresses the country's unique climate challenges. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yavatugay.
The report there will take us for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories for you. Do stay tuned and join us after the break.
Supersonics Islamic Insurance, the Gambia's first digital insurance provider, brings innovation, convenience, and Sharia compliance to your doorstep. We offer a wide range of general insurance services, ensuring peace of mind and protection for what matters most, whether at home, on the go, or in business. Experience the difference with Supersonics Islamic Insurance Company Limited. Contact us today, +220-5132-319, 5132-318, or 5132-315. Email us info@supersonicsinsurance.com or on our website www.supersonicsinsurance.com or visit us at Baker Plaza 56 Liberation Avenue, Banjul.
Hi there, my name is Nuruddin Adams, a proud product of this noble institution. Heritage Christian University is not just a learning place, but a community that transforms lives and empowers its students to become compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. My journey here has truly been life-changing, and I invite you to come experience the same. Whether your passion is into business, nursing, midwifery, psychology, communication studies, multimedia technology, information technology, or theology and ministry, Heritage has tailored these programs for both the undergraduate and graduate studies to suit your goal. If you're ever ready to take your education to the next level, then pick up an application form and join us today. At Heritage, you are never alone, as members of the community will stand and work with you every step of the way. Welcome to Heritage Christian University.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is a regional union of 12, formerly 15 West African countries, including the Gambia, established in 1975 to foster economic integration, peace, stability, and cooperation. As the union commemorates 50 years' existence, our reporter Momodu Gajaga explores ECOWAS's mission in the Gambia and the work of its resident representative in the country.
ECOWAS has played a key role in supporting the Gambia's democratic transition, particularly following the 2016 presidential election, when former President Yahya Jammeh initially refused to relinquish power. During that period, the regional force, ECOMIC, was deployed through the ECOWAS bloc to ensure stability. The organization has also been instrumental in advancing economic integration and development initiatives. Miata Lily French is the ECOWAS resident representative in the Gambia.
Generally, Gambia is a West African country. The country has all the basic needs in terms of health sector and the fact that it's a very young population. And one of the biggest problems we have at the moment is a lot of young people trying to use what they have coined in their local parlance the back way to get to Europe, and sometimes when they get deported or it's unsuccessful, it is a security issue and it's a social issue.
The ECOWAS mission has also focused on facilitating peaceful power transitions, monitoring elections, and ensuring security during periods of political uncertainty. Regarding the extended military presence of ECOMIC in the Gambia, the head of ECOWAS in the country emphasized that the force is not operating as an occupying entity.
First of all, they're very proud that the president of the commission is a Gambian. There is some apprehension among some sectors of the community regarding the presence of the force, but we are trying to combat that and trying to make them understand that the force is here for a purpose, and once that is achieved, they will leave. It's not like we're not an occupation force. For ECOMIC, I think what they need to focus on over the next, because the mandate has been extended for another 2 years, what they need to focus on is trying to transfer skills and train the Gambia Armed Forces so that they are up to standard, so that when eventually ECOWAS has to leave, they're able to take up all their responsibilities.
Colonel Jan Diouf of the Senegalese army, who took over as commander of the ECOWAS mission in the Gambia, ECOMIG, in January 2025, says part of their mandate is to serve as an interface between the government and the Gambia Armed Forces, as well as to provide training and capacity building for the Gambia's military. To sum up, our main mandate is the protection of the present republic, also ensuring the security of the government and institutions. In addition to these two mandates, there is also the facilitation and support to ensure their regular function in the long term. ECOWAS' continued engagement in the Gambia highlights the organization's commitment to promote democracy, stability, and regional cooperation. Through initiatives such as ECOMIG, election monitoring, and support for economic integration, ECOWAS strengthens governance, fosters peace, and builds resilient institutions, ensuring a secure and prosperous future for the Gambian people and Africa at large. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
On Monday, the former secretary of the Janneh Commission, Ramatoulaye Sarr, appeared before the National Assembly Special Committee to shed light on her administrative rules during her tenure at the Commission. Mam Nabuka has the rest of that story.
To this arrest, but
I was not insinuating that. However, I do feel hesitation on your part.
According to Ramatoulaye Sarr, she began her role with the Janneh Commission as the Deputy Secretary, where her responsibilities were primarily focused on facilitating payments for Commission members and staff. Despite her appointment to the Commission, she continued to be based at the Ministry of Justice and thus reported to the former Solicitor General and Legal Secretary at the time, Cherno Marina. The Council questioned Ramatoulaye Sarr why she was serving as the Deputy Secretary, yet did not report directly to the Secretary, asking her to explain how she carried out her responsibilities under these circumstances.
I was directly working with the commissioners and my supervisory boss at the MOJ. When it comes to payment, the accounts clerk will start the process, approve and then pass it to the head of accounts. Then the head of accounts will now send it to me for approval, for the final approval.
After serving as the Deputy Secretary to the Janneh Commission, Ms. Sarr was subsequently promoted to Assistant Secretary, and later as the Secretary of the Commission following the dismissal of Alhaji Mamadi Kurang from that position. Although the appointment of a Secretary to the Janneh Commission is typically made by the Office of the President, Ms. Sarr indicated that she was verbally appointed by the former Attorney General Abubakar Tambedu. Following this verbal appointment, she requested a formal letter to officially designate her in the role. However, the letter, which was written and signed by the former Solicitor General and Legal Secretary Cherno Marina, was not addressed to her and did not include any terms of reference outlining her specific duties. Ms. Sarr was asked by the committee to clarify why she decided to take the position without an appointment letter and how she carried out her duties without terms of reference.
Well, because I felt that I'm a civil servant and I was, posted to the Ministry of Justice, and the instruction was coming from the AG and the SG. So I had to go. I had no other option but to go. I only carried out my duties based on the instructions and guidance provided by the chairman and my supervisory boss, the then SG.
Due to the absence of terms of reference, Sarr says she identified several abnormalities after taking on the role of acting secretary and reported them to the chairman of the commission. She said meetings were convened in her absence to address the concerns she raised. The council, however, said he found it unusual that as the secretary of the Janneh Commission, she was absent from such a crucial meeting and questioned her on the abnormality of her absence.
I was attending to some other urgent issues at the secretariat. Maybe they felt that they could have just, discussed it internally without me. But it was later explained to me that, it has been resolved.
This Special Select Committee is poised to continue its findings to uncover vital information that could lead to greater accountability and transparency in the country's governance, specifically relating to the sale and disposal of ex-President Jammeh's seized assets. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Up next is international news. Now, the government of Cabo Verde has declared a state of emergency following deadly flash floods triggered by torrential rains that shattered the islands of São Vicente, Santo Antão and São Nicola. Since then, residents and the international community have been racing to help the nation recover. Aissatou Bari tells us more.
This is how people normally see the island of São Vicente, which even Cape Verdeans refer to as the island of culture, due to its museums, theaters, and art galleries. However, all that changed last week. The rare and destructive floods, which were triggered by Tropical Storm Erin, leading to 193 millimeters, 7.6 in of rain in just 5 hours, far above São Vicente's annual average, left at least 9 people dead, several more missing, and displaced more than 1,500 residents. It also caused widespread damage to homes, roads, and infrastructure. As a result, the president of Cabo Verde announced that, such is the destruction, a state of emergency will remain in place for up to 6 months. This is to allow for immediate mobilization of national resources and international support to address the crisis. At the same time, President José Maria Neves declared 2 days of national mourning for the victims, calling the floods one of the most tragic natural disasters in recent history. The Cape Verdean diaspora, especially in France, Luxembourg, Portugal, and the US, have launched urgent crowdfunding campaigns. Tens of thousands of euros have already been raised to buy food, water, hygiene products, and emergency supplies. The president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, and Julius Maada Bio, president of Sierra Leone, in his role as current chairman of ECOWAS, visited the island to show their support. President Omar Sissoco Embalo met with the Prime Minister, Correa e Silva, while President Bio met both the Prime Minister and President Neves. Here is President Maada Bio's statement after his meeting with the President.
Our deepest condolences for the loss of life in the last disaster, and to assure you that on behalf of ECOWAS, we will certainly take action to support you as you go through this difficult period. I've already raised the issue of the flooding with the Commission, and they are fully abreast of the situation, and something is being done to come to your support.
As Cabo Verde mourns its dead, the spirit of solidarity at home, across the ECOWAS region, and globally will be essential in helping the islands recover. Officials stress that, while relief is urgent, the greater task ahead is ensuring that no community is left this vulnerable again in the face of worsening climate threats. Dakar, the capital of Senegal, which is 600 kilometers away from Cabo Verde, was also hit by devastating floods following heavy rainfall. Senegal's president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, visited communities that have been affected by flooding and sea encroachment. He expressed solidarity with the residents and pledged that the government will act swiftly and decisively to protect families and implement lasting solutions. Aissatou Bari, QTV News.
Unfortunate incidents there. Now, before we end, here is a recap of the headlines. The Gambia Police Force has confirmed the arrest of ex-military officer Abdoulie Sanyang on the 17th of August 2025 at the Banjul International Airport, following remarks he made during a radio interview on the 14th of August on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on West Coast Radio. Now, following the completion of a comprehensive survey of business activities and entities operating in the country, GBO's officials and partners on Monday validated the economic census report for the 2024 fiscal year. The National Environment Agency, NEA, Monday, hosted a validation workshop for the Climate Resilient Banjul document, which will guide interventions to protect the region from the escalating impacts of climate change. As the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, marks its 50th anniversary, we take a closer look at the ECOWAS's mission in the country and the role of its resident representative in the Gambia. Now, in international news, the government of Cabo Verde has declared a state of emergency following deadly flash floods triggered by torrential rains shattered the islands of San Vicente, Santuan and Sao Nicola. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Do join us again at 10 p.m. for another news bulletin. Thank you for watching.